Hello and welcome to the All Rookie Podcast. We have a very special episode today. It is May 7th, 2023, and I'm your host, William Harris, aka William is Bill. Today, I have my good friend, an expert in basketball, football, movies, life in general. Yeah, you know it. We've known each other for 20 years now. Welcome to my show, my good friend, Kris Luckey, aka The Bonds. How you doing today, man?
Man, feeling great. Thank you for having me, man. Like I've been listening to the All Rookie podcast since last year, I believe. I don't know how long have you been doing this now? Is this the third year, fourth year?
It's the third year.
Yeah. So I caught on, I guess, sometime last year, and it's just been paying attention to it ever since. So I mean, a big fan of what you're doing, love what you're doing. We've been relating on basketball since, like I said, all the way back in college.
But yeah,
I think we played a game or two up at A&T.
we we did.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was gonna mention that, I got to give it to him. You're an expert on in everything. He beat me in basketball 1-on-1, so I still owe you on that one.
No, we do got to play again. We do got to play
Right,
again.
right. But yeah, we're gonna discuss some of Kris Luckey. Should I call you Kris or Vonzell?
I've been going by Vonzell.
Okay. See, in college it's Kris, but we got Vonzell Luckey. Rap name the Bonds, all that good stuff. We're gonna discuss some of his most interesting prospects in the draft: Cason Wallace, G.G. Jackson, Kris Murray, Chiante George, Bryce Ford, and Noah Clowney. I love these guys, and I love that you wanted to hit on them because they're all super talented, but rarely discussed. The bigger shows are mainly focusing on the top 3 or 4 guys, but these guys are just as important, maybe more important, because you're not going to hear as much about them. So let's get straight to it like it's nothing to it. Gonna start off with Cason Wallace. I released my big board rankings. You kind of got on me about Cason Wallace. So, I had him ranked 26. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about his game?
Cason Wallace. So I have Cason Wallace ranked put all the way into the lottery at 12. Okay. He's someone that I see as a player comp to be someone like a Drew Holiday, a Marcus Smart, or maybe even a Fred VanVleet, something like that. But just some of his stats. So he's a 19-year-old guy. He's 6'4", 193-pound guy, guard from Kentucky. What I like about him is his free throw percentage. He's shooting 75% from the free throw line. He's giving you 4.3 assists every game. So he knows how to pass the ball, and he's only turning the ball over twice a game. So he's giving you more assists than turnovers. So that's the guy that I feel comfortable with the ball in his hand if he's going to be on the court. If you're giving me more assists than turnovers, you're a smart decision maker. You can have the ball. So also he's giving me 4 rebounds per game. So whenever I got a guy that's out there that's going to be doing more than just passing the ball and not turning the ball over, he's a hustler for rebounds at just 6'4". His wingspan only goes out to 6'6". But you're not going to find someone that's going to develop a good 3-point shot, and they're going to have a crazy, long wingspan. That's not something
true. That's true.
But with Cason, he's also a very good defender. So for strengths, his defensive instincts are almost through the roof for someone that's 19 years old. He can switch from 1 to 3. Only being 6'4", and at the NBA level, because of how low he is to the, who's another? There's another, Josh Hart. That's another guy that's coming to mind when I'm thinking about this guy now. Someone they're not that big, but their base is so low that they're able to guard up. So Cason Wallace is like, he's going to be someone that can guard 1, 2, or 3. So I like him a lot because, like I said, not only with the ball in his hand can you trust the guy, but on defense, you don't have to hide him on defense on the perimeter. He can switch out a lot, So that's someone that I've seen on the draft. Like you said, I've seen him low to all the way to the lottery, So he could go anywhere.
Yeah, most rankings I'm seeing, he is around that lottery for people. But for me, I just have some questions. You made all great points. I guess I should start with number 1. Do you see him starting on any of these lottery teams? Because it's not a lot of open slots for point guards. You see him as a starter right away?
That's going to be tough for him to be a starter right away. He's not really going to be able to give you the scoring punch that you need from a starter as a point guard, and he's also not going to be able to facilitate your offense at a high enough level to be a starter as a point guard, or even a combo guard, so a 1 or 2. He's not going to be able to start for any of these lottery teams. No, I don't see that.
Right. So that's kind of my thinking. That's why I have him knocked down a little bit. And it's not realistic for 20 players to start anyway in the first round, no matter how good they are. But I was just trying to kind of project who I can see starting, being a star quick. But I love your comp with Drew Holiday too, because I could see that happening with his future, with his great defense and everything. So I love your point of view on that. That's why he's on the show. Great perspective. Let's hit on Chiante George next from Baylor. Now, I think he can be great, or he could be a six-man type. Which way you think his career will go in the NBA?
You know, there's really no telling. Like with all of these guys, you know, there's really no telling. It's going to be on their, can they stay healthy, and what kind of work ethic are they going to have once they get to the next level? But Chiante George, he's a guy. He's 6'4", 185-pound guy. Baylor, 19 years old. He's projected, you know, somewhere within the lottery to mid to late first round. You know, so I said it's a very big range from where he's looking to go. But the things that I like about him is this guy's he's a shooter. Well, he's a scorer. He's a 3-level scorer. You know, he can get to the rim. He can pull up. He can shoot from the 3. And I guess my favorite thing about him, he attacks with intention. So whenever he's attacking, he's looking to get to the free throw line. You know, he's hunting out. So like, not only are you going to get a good shot because he's shooting 79% from the free throw line. So not only are you going to get a good shot, you're putting the defense in foul trouble. So I love when you have a guy that's intelligent enough to attack the defense and get themselves to the free throw line, and they're able to make those free throw shots. You know, so those are some of the things I love about him. And the third thing about him is catch and shoot. You know, he's a point guard ish. I don't know if he'll be able to play in the NBA. You know, because he's not averaging 3 assists per game. He's right under 3 assists. You know, so point guard ish. You know, but he's able to play a 2 and do some catch and shoot. So when he's off the ball, he can still do catch and shoot. So I do like that about him. So but some of the weaknesses or things that he may need to work on is number one is his decision making with the ball. Something I was saying about Cason Wallace is you're happy to have someone when they have more assists and turnovers. But with Chiante George, he's averaging 2.8 assists per game, and he's turning the ball over 2.9 assists, you know, per game. You know, so that's washing out the assists totally. You know, so that's tough, you know, to have him out there on the court. So unless he's hot, you know, unless he's red hot and getting to the free throw line and he's putting the defense in bad positions, but those turnovers are hard to look over. And his defense, he can play defense. When the games that I'm watching from him, he can play defense when his offense is running. But when his offense isn't going the way that he wants it to, then the defense kind of falls off a little bit, and he, you know, doesn't give the full effort it looks like. But when things are rolling for him, he looks like a lottery player when things are rolling for him. But when they're not, it's tough.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you know, Jaden Hardy last year, you know, he fell in the draft. But he played so well to the mid to the end of the season. I think that will help Chiante George. But then again, I look at a guy like James Bouknight, who he kind of reminded me of him in college too, and he has not yet to. So he could go either spectrum. You know, it's really up to Chiante George and where he lands. And you know, you mentioned he's kind of point guard ish, shooting guard ish. I wish he was a straight point guard, and then he would be even higher in the ranking. So. All great points. Now we got to go. Probably your most interesting prospect. We probably differ the most on this guy, Kris Murray. Now, you're getting on me about Kris Murray from Iowa. You know, he's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of his brother Keegan right now, in my opinion. But, you know, you love him. So am I wrong having him ranked at 29?
Well, I can't say you're wrong, you know, because there's a lot of people that have him in the draft that I'm seeing have him mid to late first round. Right. You know, and I don't see many people that have him as high as I do. I have him from 15 to 17. You know, so you know, mid, you know, somewhere around there. But yeah, I have him as high as 15. His player comp to me is a less physical left-handed Keegan Murray. You know, so if anybody that's been able to see what Keegan Murray's doing in Sacramento, Kris Murray is less physical than that. He's a left-handed guy. His strength for me, he can be somewhat of a glue guy. He can do a little bit of everything, but he can't do anything exceptionally well. He's a 6'8" guy but he's not an athlete that's going to be with a quick first step or going to be able to stay in front of people very quick, but he does have the length. Like I say, he's a 6'8" guy, and the things that I like most about him is he can shoot and rebound. So at 6'8", he's averaging 7.9 rebounds per game. So 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists per game. So he can put the ball on the floor and he can pass it. He's only averaging 1.5 turnovers, so more assists than turnovers per game. So when you got him in the game, you know he's going to give you effective rebounds, 8 a game. When he gets to the free throw line, 73% when he gets to the free throw line. He's 33.5% from the three-point line right now. And when you watch him play, some games it's like, man, this guy can just shoot. And other games it's like, whoa, like so he's a little bit inconsistent, as 33.5% would say in college. So you would probably project that, not to be as, it might go down a little bit as soon as he gets to the NBA. But the thing about that is like he has a twin brother, like I've been talking about, Keegan Murray, and those same habits in practice and in the summertime that Keegan Murray is going to be doing, and the things that he learned from the NBA in his first year, all of those training habits and practice habits are going to go right to his twin brother and Kris Murray. So maybe it won't take him as long to get around the curve, that rookie hump. But I'm really liking him for the fact, like I said, he's a 6'8" guy that can rebound the ball. He can pass the ball, decently well. He's a smart decision maker, and I believe he's going to be able to shoot a little bit better than we're seeing right now.
I think those are all good points. And, he is kind of unique in this draft. There's not many people like him. So that could move him up to 15th in that range, because people may not want a small guard or a super tall, guy that's like forward/guard. He's in the middle in that area. I think he's kind of reminds me of Kyle Anderson a little bit. And, he's lasted in the league for a long time. So, and, that 33.5% from three is not too bad. Scoot Henderson would love to be at 33. So he's shooting better than Scoot and Amen by a lot. So, he might be all right in the league. Next guy, let's go to Noah Clowney from Alabama. Very promising young man, great potential. You think he's ready for the NBA?
Noah Clowney is someone that him and one other player that we're going to be talking about later. He's a guy that's hard for me to project. Yeah. I've seen him somewhere between the 11th pick and all the way to the lottery, all the way to the second round. So
yeah, it's crazy they got him in the second round, in my opinion, with the raw talent that he can be. He's like 18 years old. Yeah, I have him 13th, but carry on. I've seen that in the second round too, and it just blows my mind.
Yep, I have him 18th, but like I said, it's just because it's hard to project what this guy is, and some of his like raw stats. When you look at it, he shoots 64% from the free throw line, and it's like, I don't know if I like that. So you're 6'10" and you're averaging 8 rebounds. It's like I was getting that from Kris Murray at 6'8". It's like, all right. He's averaging, less than 1 assist per game and 1.3 turnovers. So it's like but the thing is that you're while you're willing to overlook all that is when you watch this kid play, you understand that he's 18 years old and he's very raw. So it's like some of the things when you hear about the eye test, they pass the eye test, things like that. When you watch him play, you see a jump shot that's not broken. Right. It looks better than the 28.3% that he's shooting from three, and so you can tell that that's going to go in at a higher clip. You can tell those free throw percentages are going to go up higher. His field goal percentage is 48.6. So that he's a good decision maker, out there with the ball on offense. So it's tough. He's going to go somewhat high because he can play defense. Like his best strength to me is his defensive versatility. This guy can switch he can guard anybody, 5 through 1. He can go out to the perimeter and guard. He has quick feet. He can switch to anyone. He's a tremendous athlete. He can run up and down the court fast. So those are some of the strength and his shooting potential. But he's very raw. And right now the shooting, the shots aren't going in right now. But you can see that there's potential for it for sure.
Right. And, he is raw, but I mean, there have been prospects that have been more raw than him. So he's not starting from the basement. I think he can get there. Like I said, defensively, he got that 7'3" wingspan. He's 6'10", but that 7'3" wingspan, it's crazy. And, I was looking at his stats too. I'm like, he's so good. Why is his stats so low or pretty average? But he was only playing 25 minutes per game. So you average that out to more minutes, more production. I think he's gonna be just fine in the NBA. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's one other thing that it's kind of have me out. So he's teammates with Brandon Miller, and Brandon Miller, when he's someone that I have projected in the top 3, and with someone with that much gravity, and the stats that you're averaging, and you have someone on your team with that much gravity, it makes me think it's like how much room. I was just thinking maybe you would have done a little better. When you have a Brandon Miller on your team taking all of that attention,
That's true.
But like I said, we've both been saying, he's raw, he's young, and there's still so much time for him to grow. But I was looking for him to do a little more when all the eyeballs are on Brandon Miller at the time while they were playing.
Good point. And I think you were alluding to the next guy, GG Jackson. Similar to him, you could say a lot of things you said for Clowney for GG Jackson, but do you have anything else you want to add to GG?
GG Jackson is the opposite version of Noah Clowney to me. So where Noah Clowney has his strengths in is his defensive versatility, his quick feet on the perimeter, his athleticism getting up and down the floor for defense. For GG Jackson, those are his weaknesses. His defensive engagement is it's on and off. He's not a bad defender, in any sense of the word. It's just the defensive engagement of, how much time or effort do I want to put into my defensive assignment sometimes. But for as far as offensive strengths, this guy, like I have him like a Bam Adebayo, Bam from Miami, a player comp like that. Someone he's 6'9", 215 pounds, another 18-year-old guy,
right?
Super young. That but offensively he has good footwork. He can do a little bit of everything on offense, none of it super well just yet, but just enough to let you see that he has a lot of potential offensively. So like I said, the opposite for me in Noah Clowney, to where this guy, you put GG Jackson in the half court on offense, I love what I'm seeing. On defense, if you can keep him engaged on defense, then this is a lottery guy. That if he's engaged on defense and all the offensive potential that he has at 6'9", like he can be a lottery guy.
Yeah, and he shot 32.4% from 3, so he's a little bit elevated from Noah Clowney. It's just a matter of what you're looking for, but they could easily be interchangeable, and they could easily work out in different ways, So I love his game as well, and there's a lot of guys in the NBA right now, his size, that are multi-dimensional, not just you're 6'9", you got to be posting up in the paint. He can do more than that. So I like the way this draft has so many tall, athletic guys that can play the 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's unbelievable, really. I mean, where are they making these guys? But last but not least, we're gonna go with Bryce Sensabaugh. He's kind of a polarizing prospect from Ohio State. A lot of people have a lot to say about this young man. Rankings are all over the place. We've said that about most of these prospects, but really, Bryce Sensabaugh is all over the place. Like you said with Noah Clowney, I've seen second round for him. I have him in my top 10. What do you think about Bryce Sensabaugh?
Bryce Sensabaugh. So I have him at number 17. So it's like, but I've seen him all the way from late first, like I said, to second round. Right. Bryce Sensabaugh, he's a 6'6" guy, 235 pounds. Forward at Ohio State, 19 years old. The things that I like about him, this guy is a shooter. If you need a bucket, like this is a big time bucket getter. In every sense of the word. His like I said, he's 235 pounds at 6'6", and he uses his body to create space. He's a very physical person on offense. It can remind you a bit of Carmelo Anthony, to where he's gonna use his body to create space, and he's gonna get a shot up. So on offense, 83% from the free throw line. If you get to the free throw line, it's buckets. 40% from the 3-point line. If he's shooting out there, it's lights out. And even from the field, he's almost 50% from the field at 48%. The guy is a bucket getter. Like I said, some of the strengths, like I said, that big time shooter that using his body to create space, he can possibly win like a 6 man of the year, one day type of guy. If we're talking about like peak for like, where do I see the best type version of you? 6th man of the year one day. They put you in for like a Lou Williams type. You go in there and you light it up. But his weaknesses, all around, it doesn't seem like he's interested in defense. It just on that side of the ball, that doesn't seem like something he's interested in. His decision making when he has the ball, if he's not going to shoot the ball, he's more likely to turn the ball over than to get an assist. He's averaging 2 turnovers a game, averaging 1.2 assists per game, and when you watch it, you can tell he doesn't have a vision for passing. That's just not something for him right now. Not something that he can develop it, I'm sure, but right now, his best thing that he does is shooting, and that's what scoring, and you want him doing that and nothing else. Like I said, the defense, he can be a bit of a ball stopper, so when he gets the ball, like I say, he's not looking to pass. If he is passing, that might not be a good look for you. So when the ball goes to him, it's like I say, it kind of stops the offense some. But if you bring this guy in as a 6th man, he can come in and cook for you, give you a quick 12 to 15 points, and like I said, take him right out, bring him back in. But like he's a quick microwave scorer. Just depends on where he goes and the situation that he gets in.
Yeah, most microwave scorers, like you mentioned, Jamal Crawford and those guys are smaller guards too, and he's 6'6". So I mean, that could translate very well for him. I was going to ask you what his negatives were, but you hit on that, and I think those are things that can be improved on. And I think he's going to be fine. I think it will depend on what team he goes to. He goes to a bad team, he could be like he was at Ohio State. Bad turnovers, shooting the ball too much. But if he goes to a pretty good to decent team, I think they will coach him to where he's pretty much going to be the perfect player because he can do everything they need and he won't have to do too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think we covered those 6 guys real good. I have one more final question for you. Okay. I know you have an answer for it. Before you get out of here, who do you have going number 1? I think you alluded that you have Brandon Miller at 3. You got Scoot or Wemby? Is it close?
Well, no, I said I have Brandon Miller in my top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have Wemby as number 1. He's, from everything that I've read, his team, they put so much preparation into making sure that he stays healthy. They understand that he's a 7-foot+ guy, and that the history has shown that foot injuries, leg injuries, lower level extremities is going to be an issue for guys that are that tall. It's like they're not blind to it, and they've been working to prevent that for the last 2+ years. So because of that, and because of all the effort they're putting into it, I have him going number 1 because we haven't seen anything really like him. Number 2, Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is 6'8" and shoots the lights out. There's not too many people in the draft that you're going to get that's 6'8", 85% from the free throw line, 38% from the 3-point line, 43% from the field, 8 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game. At 6'8", no, 6'9". I'm sorry, 6'9", not 6'8". So that's hard to pass up. And I understand how good Scoot Henderson is, but the NBA is like I think Charles Barkley says it all the time, the rim is 10 foot tall. Brandon Miller is 6'9", Scoot Henderson is 6'2". And Scoot Henderson, you shoot 27% from the 3-point line. Brandon Miller shoots 38%. So that's why I have this 1, 2, and 3. And that's like I said, no knock on Scoot Henderson. In a lot of drafts, he would be a lot higher. But you got a guy that's 7'2" in Victor, and a guy that's 6'9" in Brandon, and both of those guys can shoot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I got you on. Everyone has their own opinion. My top 3 is a totally different order than yours, but we never know who's going to be right. And we both can still be right together, because even if we have a guy at 3, that doesn't mean we think it's going to be bad. It's just, I think they're all going to be great, like 1A, 1B, 1C, long as Wemby stays healthy.
Yes.
So, so this draft is really exciting. I'm so glad I had you on. Thank you for finally being on my show after 3 years. You're going to have to come back. I'm trying to steal him as my co-host. So
I would love to come back, man. I would love to come back. This is great.
Cool. So y'all, do you want people to follow you on Twitter? Let them know your handle if you want. If you want to remain anonymous, you can do that.
Oh, no. Follow me on Twitter at THA_VONZ. I'll have my top 15 on there for sure by the time this episode is aired. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we reeling them in to be a full-time, sportscaster just like me. So appreciate you for coming on, Luckey. Vonzell Luckey. I got to get used to that, but thank you all for listening. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.